I'm Betty Swan. Welcome to our show, Wisdom in the Night, where you get help for the tough decisions in your life. Tonight, I have a great guest. She is a fashion designer and entrepreneur. Please welcome Chris Baretto. Chris, it's just great to have you on this show. You're such an outstanding designer.
Thank you.
You're innovative, you're creative. You have a great personality, a great attitude. I'm really anxious for people to see who you really are. And I want you to tell me a little bit about yourself. Just like where you grew up, about your family, all of that.
I'm Brazilian.
Okay, what part of Brazil?
So I grew up in a place that's called Espírito Santo, and it's very close to Rio de Janeiro.
Okay.
It's a very nice place. It's beautiful. It has mountains, it has waterfalls, and it has
Oh my
beach.
gosh.
It's very beautiful. So I grew up like on the nature. So colors was something that was always in my life. I always like looking at the sky and the greens and the sun, and I was inspired by everything that I saw in my hometown.
Yeah, well, you know, Chris, in New York, and this show goes all over the boroughs, everybody wears black.
I know.
So what do you do with your color when you come to a town that wears so much black?
Well, I think that's why I'm here. To kind of break a little bit this black and this conservative and this afraid of color kind of vibration that I have in New York. And I think that's why God opened so many doors for me here. Because when I got here, I realized how I'm going to be in a place that people are so conservative in the way that they wear their clothes. And then I start designing clothes that was like based in my own imagination, and I don't know why, but people started loving it, and I started really presenting my clothes in museums and galleries and magazines, and I cannot explain. It seems that New York, since that I got here in 1997, that was a long time ago, everything in New York was welcoming. You welcome Chris to New York. It was amazing.
Beautiful. Well, that's an example of God following His plan for your life. If you wait on the Lord and let Him put you where He wants you, when He wants you there, that's what happens.
Exactly.
It's easier, it's peaceful, it's joyful.
Yes, but of course that everything has a process. I have been in New York
yeah.
for many, many years. So I think that in any kind of profession, like being an artist, being like a designer, it takes time. You know, you get mature, so you understand more about the business. You make mistakes, but then you become better. But I have to say that New York, it was a place that welcomed me. I never felt rejected in New York as an artist. Mm-hmm. And it was very unique because it's a place that has so much competition. Mm-hmm. But in my opinion, like about coming to New York and having a chance to New York, I always say New York is a place that if you have something that's unique and it's genuine, New York accept you. It's just like New York is always like hungry for something that is very unique.
So that is such an interesting way to put it.
Yeah.
Because there are so many nationalities here.
Exactly.
And everybody's accepted, and your story is accepted, and your way is accepted.
Yes.
But I do understand what you're saying about the uniqueness. They want to see a uniqueness, right?
Yes. I think that I was always very spontaneous, mm-hmm. and I was not afraid of being accepted. I had this sparkling, like a natural sparkling on me that people liked it.
Mm-hmm.
And
I've seen that on you. That's a great way to put it.
Yes, and I think that a lot of people saw that and they say, this girl, she's herself. Let's see what she's up to, you know? Mm-hmm. And I believe that this is the main key of success for anything you do in life, but mostly if you're somebody that comes to New York, you can try anything. You can go to many schools, you can, have recommendations of people, but the New Yorkers, they are used to a lot of things, and they have so many choices, but when they have to choose, okay, this person went to that school, that person went to that other school, this person came recommended by her mother, and they see like, okay, but that one there, this person is really very unique, and this person is herself or himself. They accept you more than somebody that is just trying to become or be.
Or be what they think they ought to be instead of what they are.
Yes, because the pressure is on, right? When you come to New York, you need to be strong.
And that's why people change and become something they're not, because they're afraid what I am is not good enough, right?
Exactly.
Right?
And I think that in New York, you need to be strong. And to be strong is actually be yourself. And I know for sure that this is, if I tell you so many good things that happened to me in New York, including getting my green card as an artist, like it was something that I thought, wow, how am I going to get a green card as an artist? I actually never thought about it, but I got.
How'd you get it?
Because of my qualifications, the things that I already had done, and I had enough material to prove that I had something very unique. And then I went to the lawyer, and then she recommended to get a green card as an artist. But I think that it was something so big for me, if I would start thinking of it, that I probably thought, oh, who am I to have a green card as an artist? But I think that was a natural flow of somebody that left her country, like I left to Brazil, and I came here and say, guess what? I want to be the best of what I can be in New York, and I'm going to try.
Now, where did you get your training for this beautiful designing?
So I grew up as an artist. I went to school as an artist in Brazil. But I got a BA in psychology. What is interesting, because how you combine psychology and art.
Art. How do you do that?
Well, I was very interested about people behavior, and mostly I was very interested about body language and the way that people manifest themselves. And then I study a lot about body therapy works, and I combine this with my interest of being unique and finding out what is to be really somebody that can make a difference as an artist. And then these two subjects, they kind of got in a direction that got me into fashion, because fashion is a very deep thing. It's not just clothes. Fashion, it's always related to many other things, and it's related to history, to culture, to history, and it's an evolution. So like fabrics, they're an evolution, and shoes, they're an evolution. So, but everything has to do with body language. So in the past, women has a different body type. Now women are a little bit more athletic. So the fabrics, they follow it too. They change.
Very interesting.
The fabrics, also the shapes, because we are evolving. So everything in fashion actually has to do with your body language.
Do you think the reason so many fabrics are stretchy, have that stretchy in them now, is because people are more active?
Absolutely, no doubt. And I remember, I follow this evolution. I have been here since 1997. The evolution of stretch fabrics, it's really had evolved like a lot since the time that I got to New York until now, because also the body types, they totally changed too. Women, today they are very active, and they want something that's comfortable, but also that brings them some style. So now a lot of fabrics, they have stretch. Like even silk, they put silk
Is that
with
right?
stretch.
A little stretch in it.
Yes.
Yeah, it's just so nice. I know, I appreciate it, especially if you travel a lot.
Yes.
You want to look sharp, you want to look sophisticated.
Exactly.
But you also need that stretch in it. just to be comfortable, right?
Yeah. Yes.
Now, do you travel around the world? Do you?
Yes, I have a very dynamic lifestyle. What's great because I am Brazilian and my husband is Austrian.
From Austria?
Yes, he's
Okay.
Austrian, Thomas, and then we live in New York. So we try to combine like New York is the center of our life. And then from New York, we go to Austria, to Europe, and then we go to Brazil. So it's very interesting because it's a perfect combination because then I can expand the business and we can travel together, visit our families, and also we can blend our cultures. What is amazing, what could be better for fashion designers and artists is like I have so much opportunities to see different things that always give me inspiration. So
Because, Chris, you really are living on 3 continents, aren't you?
exactly, yeah.
That not many people do that.
It's very hard to adapt because you need to. So I think that you need to have a partner. It's much easier. I got a partner, a good partner. So because imagine we have to do this and to do this alone, and these combinations of going, traveling, coming back. It's a lot of work. So you need to do this in a very organized way that you don't lose the right season or you come late or you come leave in the wrong time. So the way that you go is that we leave in December and we come back in April.
And you're thinking in terms of the fashion seasons?
Yes, I'm saying fashion seasons because my work it's more related to summer, spring. So I have to be back here in New York in April because that's the season, spring, summer season. And then when I go to Brazil in December, I'm preparing all my collection that it's ready
the coming summer.
to come back the following summer. So it's actually perfect that I leave in December and come back in April.
Now, you've done some work in Fashion Week, haven't you?
Yes, I have done Fashion Week 3-4 times. Like I did, with this collection I did in 2015. I did in 2016, and then I'm going to do 2017.
Right.
Usually everything in fashion is much ahead. When you do 2016, you're talking about 2017. Oh. So a designer, it's a visionary. You always have to observe the trends, the history, the politics, everything. It counts when you design clothes. People don't imagine that because you go to the store, you think, well, why now the colors are this or that? But everything is a reflection of something.
Yeah. Well, now, one thing I've noticed in you're designing men's, they're like a T-shirt, but they're not a T-shirt, and they have these beautiful designs on them. I think they're fascinating. You don't see anything. I haven't seen anything like them.
Yes.
And so is that a part of your line that's expanding?
That's interesting that men, they're becoming very attracted to my work. And because I think that men, they're looking for something to make them more unique. Right? Because we have so many opportunities for women, but you don't find a lot of things for men. It's really kind of hard. So I started noticing that some male, they like to wear my scarves and as like a tie. And actually this trend started in Los Angeles, and then they were just very excited. Say, Chris, you have to bring more scarves that we can make as a tie, and this is more interesting, it's more different. And then I came up with the idea to make the T-shirts, because also I think that if you have a very interesting T-shirt and you put under a suit, or you can put a T-shirt with a more casual jeans. So a T-shirt, if it's very well designed and it has it has something that's eye-catching personality, you can use it with many different outfits for men.
Even for a man, not just a woman.
Yes.
Well, this is so fascinating. Now, as talented as you are and as gifted as you are, I know that you also have a deep faith, don't you?
Yes.
How did that happen?
Well, I think that I could not keep going and creating my life and my professional life without God and without finding Jesus Christ.
How did that happen?
Because I think that it happened actually I found Jesus in Brazil
Oh,
the
really?
first time.
Yeah?
I was in a moment that I was very discouraged, and then I entered in a church, and then I felt something. It was actually a non-denomination church, a Christian-based church, and because I grew up Catholic.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, that's not it. This Jesus Christ that I knew, the day that I entered in this church, it was a different Jesus Christ.
What
Because
do you mean?
when I got in this church and I felt the fellowship, I felt the presence for the first time in my life of Jesus Christ, the real one. So I felt a connection. I found wow, Jesus Christ is real. It's not the Jesus Christ that, I saw the Pope talking about, or the priest talking about, that I was observing a distance. That moment when I got into this church, I started crying. And I started crying, and I closed my eyes, I started crying, and I said, my goodness, this is so real. He's alive. And then from that time on, I had a progressive development of becoming a Jesus Christ follower. And
Now that's interesting, progressive development.
yes,
So you're saying over a period of months or a period of years?
years.
All right.
Years.
Got deeper and deeper?
It was getting deeper and deeper, and then I moved to New York, and then I kind of went away of Jesus Christ, and my career, in a way, it was in my way of becoming more committed with what I believed, and a lot of things has to happen for me to become mature, and at some point, I actually went to Hawaii. I was in a trip, like a vacation, and I was okay, I need a break of New York. I was it was heavy. It's too much business and too much fashion, and I was well, that's not really me. And I already knew Jesus Christ. I already had a knowledge of the Bible, but I was not deeply involved. And then I went to Hawaii, and I met my husband over there.
Yeah.
And the first thing that after I met him in his birthday, he invited me to go to a Bible study.
What did you think?
I was oh my goodness, this is the one. Because I was wow, yes, of course, let's go to the Bible study. And when we went to the Bible study, it was a huge gift for our lives, because we both were in fashion. Thomas is also a model, and I came up from the fashion design business, and then we start walking with Christ, under a couple that they invite us to go to their home. They are a couple ministers, and they start teaching us the basics of the walking with Christ. And that was a turning point in my life. Because then I knew Jesus Christ, I knew that he was real, but I didn't have somebody that would walk me through the Bible.
Okay, so now let me just ask you something right there. That you've just said something really important. First, you had to find a church and a place where you knew Jesus Christ is real and he is alive still. But the next thing you needed was somehow to find people who could teach you how to really develop it and gain knowledge.
Absolutely.
Right?
Yes.
Okay.
And I think that this is very important, because one thing is that you have that first moment, that first love for Jesus, and another thing is to develop the walk. The walk with Jesus, you need really to understand, to have the Bible and to investigate and to have the love of someone to walk with you through the Bible, for you to understand what is really the meaning of becoming like a renewed minded person. And
Oh, well, listen, that's a real important thing because the Bible can renew your mind. A lot of people think the Bible is old, and it's not relevant for today. It's as relevant as the latest news coming across the internet.
absolutely.
And people don't realize that until they get in it, and then they go, "My goodness, this is what I'm going through right now. This is my answer."
Yes.
And
Yes.
you've experienced that, haven't you?
Yes, and also have a lot of things that I didn't know, like deeply. For instance, I didn't know that God is always good. It was something. It's like when I start really like deeply get involved with the Bible. First, I understood that love is the only thing that can actually help you. If someone embrace you with love and walk with you with love through the scriptures, you can start open your heart for what is coming out of the Word of God. And I think that I was very blessed because I walk with my husband, learning together what it was really to walk in love in marriage. And we developed this moment of like, knowing each other, and then we end up getting married, but we had this base. And a lot of things that I thought it was right when I was like not really prepared like to walk with Christ, I thought that I was like very intelligent, or I was like, very artistic and rebel, like, like artists, they are rebel. And one very important thing is that I had like this protection of being a submissive woman, because as an artist, I was so much idealistic because I was creating things in my own. And then I remember this day, and it was very revealing to me that when we were the Bible study, and Charles, that's his name of our teacher, he came up with a study about Ephesians 22, about the wife be submissive to her husband. And during that study, I was like, I'm not feeling very well about this. And then it finished, and he told me that everything's in the Bible, it's true. And I told him, I said, look, Charles, I respect you, and I know that everything you tell me, but I don't think that this is true. It cannot be true.
And tell me it ain't so.
I was like, I'm sorry, but maybe this was true in that time. And he said, Chris, don't worry. One day you're going to understand that. And I was like, I got with that in my mind. And Betty, I have to tell you, I totally understand now what it means.
And you're happy with it.
I'm totally happy because submission is actually a very powerful thing. It's like submission is like, first you have to be submissive to God.
Right.
And to be submissive to God is like very powerful because...
powerful things happen.
Oh, yeah.
That's what people don't understand. They see it as a control issue.
Exactly.
It's not at all. It's a release of power.
Absolutely.
Right? Even in a marriage.
Exactly.
It's a release of love. It's a release of connection.
Absolutely.
It's a release of freedom.
Yes.
People don't think that.
No.
And God's the same way. Chris, people resist giving their whole life to God all over the world. And what makes me so sad for them is they miss out on what could really happen.
Absolutely.
Like maybe they're pretty successful and they think, well, I'm pretty successful. Yeah, but you have no idea what you would be if you allowed God to do it.
Yes.
And you submitted your life to Him. It's not like He's going to take it and control you like with an iron hand. It's like He is going to open things up better for you than you could ever do for yourself. Well, now, I do need to ask you this, though. There are challenges that go in the life, in a person's life. Everybody has challenges till the day they die. But what would you say has been the greatest challenge in your life?
I think that was actually to be submissive. That was my challenge, because I think like being a rebel, it was for me signal of freedom. And I had a hard time being submissive because I grew up with 3 brothers, and I think Brazil is very macho culture, and I was like, I don't want people to tell me what to do, because I don't want to be somebody that just follow orders. And so I had a problem of letting.
How'd you work through that? What if you had to put in one sentence? What would you say it really is when you really follow that principle of the Bible, and you said you didn't want anybody telling you what to do, but then you began to see the freedom that's in it? In one sentence, what do you think that was all about?
First, you need to have knowledge, because knowledge, like understanding what is the meaning of the Bible, and open up for that. Because if you don't know, you think that whatever people say or is in the media is right, you have no knowledge. Then it's a matter of you open your heart.
Okay, there you go.
So submission, it only can come through love. You cannot force people to be submissive. And today when I say that, now I understand what's like, why I be submissive to your husband, because I don't feel any kind of powerless with that. I just had change. And I know that my family, my brothers, they always look at Chris. So she's like more like a woman. Like I love cooking. Not that I didn't like cooking before, but I have pleasure of doing things that's very female. Like it's very like a woman. And I thought that this was make you less.
But it didn't. I can tell. Look, your business is expanding.
Yes.
You're getting to be exactly who you are, who you always wanted to be. Your creativity is exploding and going in new avenues. So you're not being put down. Do you hear what she said tonight? This is a big deal. She's really, I would say, said something maybe you've never even thought about. You only saw it in a bad way. There's nothing about what she's talking about that's bad. She's saying it produced freedom in me, greater freedom, and I became a person I liked even better. It's food for thought. Thank you so much for tuning in tonight. It wasn't an accident that you turned on the TV tonight. In fact, I hope you receive some wisdom and that you have a great rest of the night, whether you're going to sleep or you're going to work. I'll see you next time. Bye.